स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। So as you have seen, today we will be discussing the wonderful life of Rani Rasmani. Rani Rasmani, as I think all of you know, was the founder of the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar, where Sri Ramakrishna spent nearly the whole of his life, and she was very intimately connected with Sri Ramakrishna also, because she was still alive when Sri Ramakrishna was hired as the priest of the Kali temple. So we'll just have a glimpse of the wonderful life of this great lady. A glimpse because there are so many incidents, we cannot cover everything within 1 hour. So a few incidents and a general outline of her wonderful character of this great lady, who in the middle of the 19th century provided a setting in which Sri Ramakrishna enacted his divine play, so to say. Because you see, the whole story began in the Kali temple of Dakshineshwar, which Rani Rasmani had built. So Nivedita says beautifully, humanly speaking, without the temple of Dakshineshwar, there would have been no Ramakrishna. Without Ramakrishna, no Vivekananda. And without Vivekananda, no Western mission. So this is just in a way of speaking, of course, because if God had willed, he could have easily had another setting, but this is just a way of speaking to show the importance of Rani Rasmani in the divine play which God, in the form of Sri Ramakrishna, enacted on this earth. And as with all the people closely associated with Sri Ramakrishna, Rani Rasmani was also not an ordinary person. We have the words of Sri Ramakrishna himself to this effect. He said once, Rani Rasmani was one of the 8 Nayikas. Nayikas here means attendant goddesses. Attendant goddesses, it is said that the Divine Mother has 8 attendant goddesses, and Rani Rasmani was one of those attendants of the Divine Mother. Sri Ramakrishna says, then he says, she came down to the world to spread the worship of the Divine Mother. These are Sri Ramakrishna's words. So all of these people came, you see, because God himself incarnated to fulfill his divine mission. All of them helped in that. They played a great role. And from Sri Ramakrishna's words, we can understand that Rani Rasmani was no ordinary person. Far from it. She was a spiritual lady who possessed wonderful traits of character like benevolence, far-sightedness, great administrative abilities, and she was also a very courageous woman. A courageous and determined lady who was not afraid, even in those times, she was not afraid to challenge the authority of the British who ruled India at that time. And she also made the British respect her. She gained the respect of the Britishers also. Such was the Rani. Now, Rani actually, as you know, means a queen in Hindi and Bengali. So she was not actually a Rani. I mean, she was not the wife of a king. Rani was a nickname which had been given to her by her mother in her childhood. But when she grew up, people continued to call her Rani, a queen, in recognition of her royal nature, royally benevolent and commanding nature. Such was the Rani. So she was well known throughout Bengal for her noble qualities. And we again have another incident which shows that it was all part of the divine plan. How she finally came to build the Dakshineshwar temple, we will read later that she once planned to go on a pilgrimage to Varanasi. Varanasi is supposed to be the holiest city in India. But when she was finally ready to start her journey, she had a dream in which the Divine Mother commanded her to build a temple instead for the mother instead of undertaking the pilgrimage. So see, all these events, whether we realize it or not, all these were of a part of a divine plan that she should build the temple, that Sri Ramakrishna should come here and thus lay the foundation of all that was to follow. So Rani Rasmani was born in September 1793 in Kona, a small village on the eastern bank of the Ganga, about 30 miles north of Calcutta, to Hare Krishna Das and Rampriya Dasi. These are the name of her parents, Hare Krishna Das and Rampriya Dasi. So she was born to them in September 1793 in Kona, and the name of the district is Hali Shahar. In Bengali you pronounce it Hali Shahar. So the name given to her was Rasmani by her parents, but her mother, as we have seen, nicknamed her Rani or Queen. So this Hali Shahar is still there, very much there, and I will show you some. See, this is the photo of Rani Rasmani. You must have seen this photo. And this is the place in Hali Shahar where her home was there. This is supposed to be her home. But there is a debate on this. Some say that the place where her home was has been submerged in the Ganga right now. It is no longer existing. But some others say that this is the place where she spent her childhood. Those who can read Bengali can read above Ranir Ghat, Hali Shahar. So now I will just show you a video of Hali Shahar which I found. It's such a calm and quiet place still, and in Hali Shahar also there is a temple of the Divine Mother. I'll just show you a small video. This is the temple which still exists in Hali Shahar, and it is such a beautiful place, you can see from the video.
আবার চলে আসলাম নতুন ভিডিও। চলে এসেছি রানী রাসমণির মন্দিরে। আমরা রানী রাসমণির সিরিয়াল দেখি, সেই রানী রাসমণি। এটা রানী রাসমণি মন্দির, যেখানে মায়ের মূর্তি আছে। কত বড় মাঠ! যদি কল্পনা করি পুরোনো দিনের কথা, তাহলে বোঝাই যায় এখানে একসময় জঙ্গল ছিল আশেপাশে। আমরা এই ভিডিওতে দেখব রানী রাসমণির ঘাট। এখন আপাতত দেখছি মন্দির।
So from this you can have a very small idea of how beautiful this Halishya district is. Still it is there, and the place where she was born, as I told you, there is a debate. Some say that it was the photograph which I showed you, and the others say that it is now submerged in the Ganga. It is no longer there. So anyway, so Rani Rasmani's parents were very pious, very devoted couple, but unfortunately they were also very poor. So Rani Rasmani's father had to work very hard to maintain his family, but he was a very religious person also, and he was what they call a village storyteller. You know, in Indian villages, some people who are gifted with a good voice and all, they are storytellers, means they are invited to functions where they recite the holy books like Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc., and people enjoy. So Rani Rasmani's father was such a storyteller, village storyteller, and he played a vital role in spreading this spiritual education. And villagers called him in the gatherings, etc., to listen to his melodious and dramatic readings from the Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other such holy books. So Rasmani also listened to these tales, and naturally, her imagination, she created her own spiritual world. And Rasmani's parents, they were devoted Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas means those who are followers of Vishnu. So Vaishnavas generally put a spiritual this mark on their head, you see. It is called tilak in Hindi and Bengali also. So Rani Rasmani, when she used to see her parents that they put their mark on their head, etc., as a child, sitting in front of a mirror, she would also put those marks on herself. And so just a few signs that the seed of religion was planted in her from her very childhood. And we see that she had spontaneous faith in and love for God, and her character was a blend of strength, truthfulness, uprightness, and contentment, etc., as Chetananandji says in his book about about the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Now, unfortunately, when Rasmani was very young, only 7 years old, her mother Rampriya died from high fever. So now she was left without a mother, and it was a great shock to the little girl. Only her father remained, and he also, because he was very poor, now he began to worry as to how he could marry his daughter. See, in those days the child marriage was prevalent, you see. So poor people, it used to be a great burden on them that how they would marry their daughters. Now her father also became anxious, but as we have seen that Rani Rasmani was born because of a divine plan, so her marriage also took place in a very unusual way. And we shall see that she was married to one of the richest persons of that time. and it was extraordinary. See, these events are so extraordinary, all these, that we are bound to admit that humanly, it could not have been a coincidence. What happened was, one day Rani Rasmani was going to the Ganga for a bath along with her some friends of hers. So when they were there, she saw that she was being watched at from the occupants of a very large boat, which was standing in the river. So it was the large boat of Raj Chandra Das, who became Rasmani's husband. And Raj Chandra Das was the son of Preeta Ram Das, the great landlord of Jan Bazar, Calcutta, a very rich family. So Raj Chandra, when he saw Rasmani, for some reason he was attracted to her. She was very young at that time, and when they proposed to her father that he wanted to marry his daughter, what objection could the father had, because it was such a big family. So her father must have thanked his stars that his daughter is being married to such a person. And the wedding between Raj Chandra Das and Rani Rasmani was held at Raj Chandra's Calcutta residence in April 1804. So this way, Rani Rasmani was married into a very big family, and that was instrumental in her building this great temple. Because if she didn't have the resources, how could she undertaken such a project? But although Rasmani was poor and she had very little education, she had so many gifts, God gifted talents, and one of them was her great administrative capacity, administrative ability, so much so that Raj Chandra, son of such a great landlord, he also found after some days that the Rani possessed such abilities that he also began to consult his intelligent wife before making any decision. Rajchandra grew great admiration for her capacity and appreciated Rani Rasmani's perception and this common sense, also tactfulness. And the great thing about the Rani was, although she had been married into such a great family, she still remained very humble. In the world we see that as soon as a person becomes rich, he immediately becomes proud and haughty and all that. But the Rani remained as humble as ever, the little simple village girl that she was, and her quiet and humble nature gained the love of all her family members. She served everybody, of course, including her husband. She supervised the kitchen work and other household activities and performed worship and spiritual disciplines, as because we know that she was devoted to God from her childhood. And thankfully, Rajchandra Das was also, like the Rani, a very generous person. So they were a very devoted and as well as charitable couple. Instead of hoarding their wealth, they undertook many charitable projects, and their heart always cried out for the poor and the distressed people. So in 1823, we see that when many areas in Bengal were devastated by floods, Rani Rasmani and this Rajchandra spent money liberally to feed those who had been badly affected. And she has undertaken many works. The whole of Calcutta, so many landmarks are there because she had built so many structures there, important structures. One day when she had gone to the Ganga to perform some religious rites, she noticed the terrible condition of the bathing ghat. So she then asked Rajchandra to construct a new ghat and also a road for the people so that they could approach the Ganga easily. And thus the Babu Ghat, such a famous place in Calcutta, such an important place, thus the Babu Ghat was built, and she also built another very famous place that is called the Ahiri Tola Ghat. So I'll just show you the photographs of Babu Ghat and see, this is Babu Ghat. We have gone there so many times. It is at such an important place in central Calcutta, and this is Ahiri Tola Ghat. It's a night-time photo you can see. So this old structure is still there, and when we used to go to Beluru Math via the ferry service, this Ahiri Tola, the launch stops here at Ahiri Tola. So all these places brings back the memory of Calcutta. Anyway, so she constructed the Babu Ghat and Ahiri Tola Ghat also, and the couple also donated 10,000 rupees for the improvement of the government library. 10,000 rupees in those days was a huge sum. Then they also arranged for a free ferry service to cross the Belia Ghata canal. Belia Ghata is very near Advaita Ashrama where I was there. And in Talpukur, a village 14 miles north of Calcutta, they had a large pond dug to alleviate the water scarcity. Many other things, many other projects they had taken up. So the thing is that they were a very, very generous and charitable couple who spent their money for all these kinds of good works. And Rajchandra was known for his truthfulness as well as his generosity. In 1833, he was honored by the British rulers themselves and given the title Rai Bahadur. Rai Bahadur means a noble man, a leader amongst men, for his integrity, generosity, etc. And it is noteworthy that amongst Rajchandra's close friends was Dwarkanath Tagore. Dwarkanath Tagore was Rabindranath Tagore's grandfather. So he was a close friend of Rajchandra. And in course of time, Rasmani and Rajchandra had 4 daughters: Padmamani, Kumari, Karunamai and Jagadamba. Jagadamba was later married to Mathur Babu. We will see that later. And she was very devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. And in 1821, Rajchandra had a new home built for his family. A new home which is now in Jan Bazar. Jan Bazar was, I think then also it was called Jan Bazar. So this was a huge house. It had 7 sections and 300 rooms. Just imagine a house with 300 rooms. So whenever we used to go to Esplanade, is the central Calcutta. So this Jan Bazar is located very near that. And from Jan Bazar, when we go to Babu Ghat, which Rani Rasmani had built, it is a walk of about 45 minutes or so. So Babu Ghat and Babu Road also belong to Rasmani. Why I am mentioning Babu Road? Because there will be a very interesting incident in connection with this road later. So Jan Bajar is still there, and still Rani Rasmani's descendants are living there, and I will show you some photos of that building. It's a huge building. So this is Jan Bazar house, Rani Rasmani's house. It's a huge house. In one photo you cannot even fit this house. It's stretching from one end to the other, 300 rooms. So you can imagine. And Sri Ramakrishna also had come here. So this is and some other photographs also I will show you once again. The inside portion I'll show you. See, this is the inside of that house. This is the courtyard of the house. And another photo is there. See here. This is the Jan Bajar house inside, and they perform the Durga Puja and all every year still. This is the, see, a statue of Rani Rasmani inside the house. See the height of the ceiling. The old houses, see the height of the ceiling here. This is the statue of Rani Rasmani inside the house, and see the height of the ceiling. Yeah. So this is the inside view of the Jan Bajar house of Rani Rasmani. It is still there, very much there. So Rajchandra built this house for his family, but unfortunately when Rajchandra was relatively young, in 1836, at the age of 53, he suddenly passed away. So now Rani Rasmani was a widow, and of course she suffered a great shock. It is said that for 3 days she just lay down without food and water. She suffered such a great shock because her husband was such a noble person, you see. So when these people go, all of us feel we feel so bad, and he was her own husband. But she soon recovered and now began to manage the vast estate with the help of her 3 sons-in-law. But she mostly depended on one of them, that was the youngest, Mathur Mohan Biswas. And now this he is called Mathur Babu. So I find it strange that in some books it is Mathur Nath Biswas, and some places it is Mathur Mohan Biswas. So I don't know what is the correct one, but this is Mathur, we call him Mathur Babu, and he was so devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. We will study his life separately later. So Rani depended on Mathur Babu the most because he was very intelligent and tactful, and even in those days he was very well versed in the English language. So Rani Rasmani's third daughter, Karuna, had been married to Mathur, but she died very young. In 1833 she died. So Rasmani then asked Mathur to marry her fourth daughter, who was Jagadamba. And Jagadamba, like Mathur Babu, was very devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. Actually, Sri Ramakrishna in ecstasy, one day he promised Mathur that I will stay in Dakshineshwar till you are alive. So when Mathur Babu heard that, he said, Baba, Master, why only me? My wife Jagadamba is also devoted to you so much. Then Master said that, okay, till Jagadamba is there alive, I will stay in Dakshineshwar. He promised. And it happened so. Sri Ramakrishna moved away from Dakshineshwar only when Mathur and his wife both had gone. So now Rani became actively involved in the management of a huge estate, but in her heart she remained unattached as ever. She was so steadfastly devoted to her spiritual practices. Early in the morning she would get up and repeat her mantra. Then in the mid-morning she would sit in the office and manage the estate, etc., and discuss the various problems with Mathur. Then at noon she would partake of the prasad which had been offered to God. Then after resting, again later in the day she would attend the Vesper service and all. And she was very fond of inviting Brahmin scholars and listening to their discourses on the scriptures. So her life was a God-centered life. And so many celebrations were held in her home, including the Durga Puja. And in those celebrations she would generously, lavishly spend her wealth in giving food and gifts to the needy. And all other major festivals like Janmashtami, Lakshmi Puja, Jagadhatri Puja, Saraswati Puja, etc. would follow one by one. You see, in Bengal, there is no dearth of all these. We say that in Bengali there is a saying that there are 13 festivals in 12 months. Means that it is full of these celebrations, the whole of Bengal, except in the summer, when there is peak summer, we have no pujas, etc. But just after summer ends, all these celebrations and all start. So on these occasions, the poor were fed and clothed, and offerings were given to Brahmins, etc. All these things which are the traditional method of celebrating. So this much for the charitable side of the Rani. Now we will see another great aspect of her character, and that was her great courage. I will just mention two very important incidents from which we can know how courageous she was, not even afraid of the British rulers who ruled India with a iron hand, and Calcutta was their capital, mind you. So remaining in their capital, she challenged the British. Just imagine her courage. So one incident is such. See, in Durga Puja what happens, there are many small festivals before the puja actually starts. So one of them is, in early morning, I think Panchami or Shashti, I don't remember, there's a small puja, and people go with all this, banging this, like Aarti we do here, there's a round thing, and we make a sound with that gong. So people do worship in early morning just before Durga Puja, and with that all these gongs and all, they go to the Ganga. So early morning you will hear a lot of sound and all. So once on the day, such a day preceding the worship of Durga Puja, her priests also went in a musical procession like this to the Ganga to perform a ritual. And it was early in the morning, you see, this takes place very early in the morning when it is still dark. So this music, this sound disturbed the sleep of an Englishman. Okay, now they were English, they were the rulers, you see. So this fellow shouted the musicians to stop. He said, maybe my sleep is getting disturbed or something. But who will listen to him? Rani was not the person to listen to all that. So nobody paid any attention to him. And this fellow, this Englishman, he complained to the police and sought immediate action. Now, when Rani heard that this fellow was such a small thing, he had complained to the police, next day she took out another procession, the early morning, and this time she made a greater sound, a lot of sound, so to even a greater sound than the last time. So now this fellow, Englishman, he got very angry. So he took the Rani to court for this disturbance what she was creating. Now the court decided in favor of the Englishman. So the Rani had to pay a fine of 50 rupees. 50 rupees was a huge sum at that time. You see, you can imagine that Sri Ramakrishna, when he was employed as the priest of Dakshineshwar, he got a salary of, I think, 5 rupees. 5 rupees a month. So 50 rupees means 10 times the salary which Sri Ramakrishna got. So it was a big sum. So Rani had to pay that, okay. But she must have thought, okay, I'll show you people. She paid the fine. Now we have already told that she had built the Babu Ghat and the Babu Road also. Okay, Babu Road belonged to the Rani. So what now, after paying the fine, what did she do? She ordered barricades to be put up at both ends of Babu Road. The Babu Road is a big road. See, from Jan Bazar, as I've told you, if you walk to Babu Ghat, it will take you at least 40 to 50 minutes, if not more. Such a big road. She put, and it is in central Calcutta. She put up barricades at both ends so that no traffic could pass through. If you block that road, the whole of Calcutta will come to a standstill. So she put up barricades. Now when the government protested, the Rani replied in a letter, this road is mine. I have every right to barricade the road. And without receiving compensation, I shall not allow anyone to pass through the road. Government couldn't do anything because legally she was the owner of the road. So government was helpless, and it was forced to reimburse the money. That 50 rupees, government was forced to reimburse her with the money, and they earnestly requested her to open the road for the public. Then only Rani opened the road. Such a courageous lady. So this news spread immediately like wildfire in Calcutta, because who had seen such a person who could challenge the Britishers? So they made a poem. 2 lines of this couplet was, when the Rani's horses and carriage roll down the street, they say, none, not even the English company, dares to stand in her way. This was the poem in Bengali which they made in praise of the Rani. And another incident in which she again challenged the British government, and this time it was not because what they did to her. It was because in support of the poor fishermen. In support of the poor fishermen, she again took up her arms against the British government. So what happened was, you see, at that time the government imposed a tax on fishermen who made their meager living by fishing in the Ganga. You see, these people were very poor. What can you get by just catching fish and selling fish? After how much can you get? Just enough to maintain your family. And on these people also the government imposed a tax. So the fishermen requested many prominent people to help them, but no one would come forward. Who would engage in a battle with the British government? Nobody had the courage. So the fishermen finally they came to the Rani. Hmm. And the Rani assured them that yes, she would do what she could. Hmm. So now what did the Rani do? She paid 10,000 rupees to the government. 10,000 rupees, you just imagine what the sum was. Hmm. When Sri Ramakrishna got 5 rupees a month, 10,000 rupees, just imagine. She spent just for the fishermen. What did she do? Paying this money, she obtained a lease on the fishing rights to a large stretch of the river Ganga. A large stretch. So what happened was, when she paid the money, the government granted her exclusive rights, that portion now belonged to her, and she could fish in that, and nobody else could catch fish in that portion. Okay. So then what did she do after getting that lease? Again she adopted the same measure. She asked the fishermen to barricade the whole of that area, the whole of that river. From one end they put poles or something, and another end, just imagine the breadth of the Ganga. It's very big. The Ganga is very broad. Where the Belur Math is, only a very expert swimmer can swim across the Ganga at that place. We have heard that Swami Vimohananda, he could swim from one end of the Ganga to the other end. He was such an expert swimmer. So that large stretch of the Ganga, she put barricades on both the ends which belonged to her. So what will happen when you barricade the Ganga? No ships can go through. So, and she told the fishermen, okay, now you catch as many fish as you like in that area, no problem. She barricaded with bamboo poles. So all water traffic was stopped. No boat could go through, you see. So then the government again, show cause summons was made against the Rani, and she was asked to remove the barricade. So what did the Rani say? Rani said that I have paid you such a huge amount for these fishing rights. And when your big boats go, they scare the fish. When your big boats go, they scare my fish. So the fishermen can't fish properly. So I will not allow any boat to go. This belongs to me. Legally it belonged to her. So now what could the government do? Again it had lost. So at last the British government settled the case by returning Rasmani's money for the lease. She got back her 10,000 rupees, and also the government withdrew the fishing tax on the fishermen. So in such a way she rescued so many fishermen, poor fishermen, because of this tax. So just two incidents which depict the courage of this great lady. So many qualities in one person, just imagine. So anyway, now we come to the incident where the Rasmani planned a pilgrimage for Varanasi. But she decided to go by boat, you see, because at that time there were no trains. So a convoy of 25 boats were arranged. Rani with her whole family planned a pilgrimage to Varanasi in this great convoy. But as we have seen, a divine mother appeared to her in a dream and said, there is no need to go to Varanasi. You build a temple for me here itself, where I will accept your worship. So, getting this divine command, Rani immediately cancelled her pilgrimage, because the divine mother also told her that in the image I shall be constantly present and shall ever accept your worship. So Rani immediately cancelled her pilgrimage, and the articles etc. were all distributed among the poor. Now she began searching for a suitable land to build the temple on. So she first sought on the western bank of the Ganga where Belur Math is, because the western bank is supposed to be very holy. Sri Ramakrishna himself has said that it is just like Vaikuntha, the western bank of the Ganga. It is like the God's abode, because the air which flows over the Ganga, it brings the water particles of that Ganga. Ganga, it is called Brahmavari. Brahmavari means it is Brahman in the form of water. It is supposed to be so holy. So the western bank of the Ganga is supposed to be very holy, and Rani first tried there, but the landowners, they were so jealous of the Rani, nobody agreed to sell her land. So finally, she had to purchase a plot on the eastern bank of the Ganga, where Dakshineshwar is now. That is a plot of 20 acres. And this plot was a very auspicious one because it was in the shape of a tortoise shell. Tortoise shell, it is raised in the middle, then it slopes downwards. So this type of land is supposed to be very auspicious for the worship of the Divine Mother. So 20 acres land she purchased, and the construction of the temple complex began in 1847. And such a huge complex, it took more than 8 years to complete. So as all those who have gone to Dakshineshwar know, besides the main temple of Divine Mother, there are 12 small temples dedicated to Shiva and a temple dedicated to Krishna. So this whole structure was built in 8 years. It took 8 years, but actually the dedication was performed even before the construction of the temple was complete. Why? Another you can say divine incident or a supernatural thing, that Rani, again the Divine Mother appeared to the Rani in a vision. Actually, when the temple construction started, when the construction was going on, in the meantime, the image of the mother, which is called Bhavatarini, that image was made, but it was kept in a box. So they thought that after the construction is complete, then they would take out the image and do the dedication. But the Divine Mother appeared to the Rani in a dream and said that, how long will you keep me in this box? I am feeling suffocated. Take me out soon and start worshipping me. And the strange thing is, we of the modern generation may not believe it, but all this happened when they opened the box. They saw that the image was perspiring. The image had actually perspired, it was wet. So all these things have actually happened. So immediately Rani thought that now she had to perform the dedication ceremony as early as possible, and since no other date could be found before the Snan Yatra, a very auspicious day, the day of the bathing of Lord Jagannath at Puri. That is the day. So she resolved to perform the installation on that day. And according to the solar calendar, that day was 31st May 1855. So, and who performed the installation? It was the elder brother of Sri Ramakrishna, Ram Kumar. Because the Rani had earlier consulted him about a matter, you see. See, in those days, these caste rules and all that were a big problem. So, the caste rule said that if the temple if the deity in the temple was to be offered cooked food, that is, so that the prasad could be distributed between the Brahmins and all, if the deity was to be offered the cooked food, the temple owner must be a Brahmin. No other person of any other caste could offer cooked food to the temple, because if they did, nobody would partake of the prasad. The Brahmins won't take of the prasad, partake of the prasad. Now, the Rani Rasmani was not a Brahmin. So she was in a big fix. Now what to do? Will the whole thing go to waste? Because if she couldn't offer food, if holy persons and pilgrims couldn't take out the prasad, then what use would it be? Should she consulted many scholars, those who were well versed in these rules and all. Nobody gave her an encouraging reply, except one, that was Ram Kumar, the elder brother of Sri Ramakrishna. He gave a solution to the problem. What was the solution? He said that let the Rani make a gift of the whole property to a Brahmin. If she can gift it to a Brahmin, she can do the supervision work, no problem. But if the property is the name of the Brahmin, then if cooked food is offered to the deity, caste rules would not be broken. And then all the Brahmins and people of the upper caste could take of the prasad of the Divine Mother without any problems. So the Rani immediately gifted the property to her guru, who was a Brahmin. And now she was left only with the rights to manage the property. So this was the solution which Ram Kumar had given, and this was accepted. So the consecration was performed in a lavish way, as we can imagine. The ceremony, great solemnity and splendor. The temples were lavishly decorated, and all those who have gone to any such opening can imagine, innumerable lights and recitations from the scriptures, chanting, devotional singing, and sounds of these conches and bells, etc. And Pandits and scholars, Brahmins from all over India came to grace the occasion and were lavishly given gifts of silk clothes and gold coins, etc. Thousands of people came and they received the prasad, they partook of the prasad of the Divine Mother. So now the temple was consecrated, and the Rani thought that a great work was done. And after this, the Rani lived for only 5 years. She could live for only 5 years. But in the meantime, Ram Kumar, who had been appointed priest of the Kali temple, in the meantime, even when the Rani was alive, Ram Kumar, he found that his health was failing. He could not manage the heavy duties. So he requested Sri Ramakrishna to take up the duties of the Pujari of the Kali temple, which Sri Ramakrishna agreed to. So even when the Rani was alive, Sri Ramakrishna had become the priest of the Kali temple, and some incidents are also there of the Rani and Rasmani. Of course, we cannot discuss it today, there is no time. So the thing is that after this, the Rani lived for only 5 years, and after the consecration, she began to spend most of her time in spiritual practices and all that. She loved to come to Dakshineshwar. She could recognize that Sri Ramakrishna was not an ordinary priest. She would talk about God with Sri Ramakrishna, and she particularly loved to hear Sri Ramakrishna's singing devotional songs. But gradually the time came for her to depart from the world, and in 1861 the Rani became sick with fever and chronic dysentery. The best doctors was called, you see, she was such a great lady and also so rich. So even the best doctors, they could not save her life. They gave up hope in the end. So Rani Rasmani decided to go to her garden house at Kali Ghat in southern Calcutta, which was on the bank of the Adi Ganga. So I'll just show you a photo of that. This is called the Adi Ganga. It is a small stream which flows into the Ganga, you see. If you have gone to Kali Ghat, you must have seen that. This is the very old painting. At that time, this must have been the scene. Behind you see that temple of Kali Ghat, Mother Kali, and this is the Adi Ganga. So, beside this place, this Rani Rasmani had a garden house, and she went there to spend her last days. She knew that her death was imminent. And the Rani passed away on 19th February 1861. 19th February 1861. But she was none other than one of the attendants of the Divine Mother, you see. So her death was also extraordinary. Shortly before she passed away, she was brought to the bank of the Adi Ganga. And there she saw some lamps lighted in front of her. But just when she was about to pass away, she said, "Remove these lights. Remove these lights. I don't care for this artificial illumination anymore. My mother has come, and the brilliance of her form has illumined the whole place." So she received the vision of the Divine Mother, and after a short pause, she passed away saying, "Mother, you have come." These were her last words. And there is another version of her death. So it is said that just before the Rani passed away, all the lights of the Kali temple were blown out by a strong gust of wind. It became dark, and then the Divine Mother appeared before her. So these are the two versions of her death. So we will see that place also. I will show you a video. That house is still there. It is in a very dilapidated condition, but it is still there. But before that, we can just have a look at the monuments to the Rani which still stand. They are still in Calcutta, and I will just give you a list of those. One second. And also show you some statues of the Rani which are still there. So the monuments, see, an avenue in Esplanade, Calcutta is named after Rani Rasmani as Rani Rasmani Avenue, where her statue is there. I will show you a photo of that statue. Then a road is named after her as Rani Rasmani Road near her ancestral house at Jan Bazar. Again, a road is also named after her as Rani Rasmani Road at Dakshineshwar. Then the Department of the Post of Government of India issued a postage stamp in commemoration of the bicentennial of Rani Rasmani in 1993. I will show you that stamp also. And a ferry ghat known as Rani Rasmani Ghat has been built for ferry services in Hooghly. And recently, one of the 5 fast patrol boats of the Indian Coast Guard has been named after Rani Rasmani. One of the boats. It was commissioned very recently in June 2000, 2018, just a few years before. So, such is the glory of the Rani. I will now show you the statue at Esplanade and the postage stamp also. See, this is the statue. You can see, those who can read Bengali, Lok Mata Rani Rasmani. This is the statue at Esplanade, and this is the close-up of that statue. It is still very much there. This is another statue of the Rani. I don't know where it is, but it is also there. You can. It is a golden colored statue. This is a small temple dedicated to the Rani. This is in Dakshineshwar itself. So inside you can see that there is a statue of the Rani. Here. This is a statue of the Rani. So this is there in Dakshineshwar. This is the stamp which the government of India had brought out in 1993. It is written 1994, of course. Maybe they brought it out the next year. So these are the. This is the garden temple of Dakshineshwar. All of you know. These are in the front. These are the Shiva temples. See here. These are the Shiva temples, and inside when you go, there's a temple of Radha Krishna and this great spire of the Mother Kali temple, you can see. So, and finally, I will show you the video of that garden house in Kali Ghat, near Kali Ghat, where Rani spent her last days. One minute, I'll just. See, this is the place. These two gates, you see, this was a gate to the Rani Rasmani's house. Just a few minutes of video we can see inside also. We go inside this gate. This is the main entrance of the house. In Bengali, it is written that in this house, she spent her last days. So, this is the house, and before ending, we cannot leave without seeing her greatest achievement. Maybe because of that which he had come, that the Dakshineshwar temple. That was the setting for Sri Ramakrishna. So, before ending, we will see a very short video of Dakshineshwar, especially for those who have not been to that place. This documentary was prepared by Ramakrishna Mutt, Hyderabad. Just a short documentary, but I think you will like it.
Ganga, the holiest river in India, always holds a special implication amongst Indians. It is believed that anything touched by the water of this river becomes pure and sanctified. Even the wind that flows from the Ganga purifies everything that it touches. This belief has led many pious devotees to build temples on the banks of the Ganga. This exquisite temple of the Divine Mother Kali stands on the eastern bank of Ganga at Dakshineshwar. It was built by Rani Rasmani, an honorable, courageous, generous, wealthy and pious zamindar in Kolkata. She was born in September 1793 in a village called Kona, 30 miles north of Kolkata. She was married at the age of 9 to Rajchandra Bishwash, a rich zamindar of Kolkata. After her husband's demise, she took up the reins of the property with the help of her son-in-law, Mathur Mohan Bishwas. Their family deity was Lord Rama. Dakshineshwar Kali Temple is situated just 5 kilometers north of Kolkata and about 10 kilometers from Howrah station. This is the site map of Dakshineshwar Temple at Sri Ramakrishna's time. A huge courtyard houses the temples. At the center is the temple of goddess Bhavatarini. In front of the temple is a prayer hall or Nat Mandir. On the northern side of the Kali temple is Radhakanta temple. On the west of the courtyard, 12 Shiva temples flank both sides of the Chandani. Sri Ramakrishna's room is located at the northern corner of the temple courtyard. Along the south and the eastern boundary of the courtyard are the office rooms, kitchen and stores.
Namaste Saranye Shive Sanukampe Namaste Jagat Vyapike Vishwarupe Namaste Jagat Vandya Padaravinde Namaste Jagat Tarini Traki Durge Namaste Jagat Chintyamana Swarupe Namaste Mahayogini Jnana Rupe Namaste Sadananda Nanda Swarupe Namaste Jagat Tarini Traki Durge Namaste Jagat Tarini Traki Durge Anathasya Dinasya Krishna Turasya Pamekagate Devi Nistaradatre Pamekagate Devi Nistaradatre Namaste Jagat Tarini Traki Durge.
Temple architecture of Bengal can be broadly classified into 3 categories: Dalan or Bangla Mandir, Chala Mandir, and Ratna or Chuda Mandir. In this temple complex, all these 3 traditional architectures are represented. Ma Bhavatarini's temple is designed as per Ratna architectural tradition, while the Vishnu Mandir has followed Dalan tradition. The 12 Shiva temples are designed in Chala tradition that resembles simple thatched roof houses of Bengal. The Navaratna temple of goddess Kali at Dakshineshwar is one of the finest examples of the Ratna Mandir architecture. Navaratna style means a temple with 9 turrets. The graceful turrets on the 3-tiered roof reflect the genius of the architects of Bengal. The height of the temple is 100 feet and the area at the base is 46.5 square feet. The Garbha Mandir or inner shrine is 15 feet square. In the shrine, a black stone image of Mother Kali, 33.5 inches high, stands on Lord Shiva's chest facing south. The white marble image of Lord Shiva lies on a 1,000-petaled silver lotus on a black stone pedestal. According to Tantric interpretation, the image of Goddess Kali standing on the chest of Lord Shiva has a special significance. Lord Shiva lying as a dead body represents Shiva Tattva, or the inactive Brahman, the absolute pure consciousness which is beyond all names, forms and activities. While Mother Kali represents Shakti Tattva, or creative power. It is the manifested energy responsible for all names, forms and activities. Here, Divine Mother is standing with 4 arms in the form of Dakshina Kali, holding her tongue out. According to Tantra, the sign of the red tongue bitten by white teeth represents controlling Rajas by Sattva. The upper right hand of the Divine Mother denotes Abhaya Mudra, through which she assures protection to her children. With the lower right hand in Vara Mudra, she grants boons. In the 2 left hands she holds a kharga or sword and a severed human head. The sword signifies divine knowledge and the human head signifies human ego. This ego must be slain by divine knowledge in order to attain moksha. The idol is decorated with a silver chalachitra which stands on 4 small silver pillars. As Mother Kali is known as Mashan Vasini, she is decorated with a golden garland of human heads and a girdle of human hands. A big image of Jackal is placed on the pedestal. A bull, a lizard, a swan and a lion are also depicted on the pillars of the Chalachitra. In front of the deity on the right are Ganesh on the left and a silver image of Sri Ramakrishna are placed. A Mangal Ghata or a holy vessel is kept in front of the image on which daily worship is done. After the construction of the temple was completed, Rani Rasmani faced trouble to find priests who could worship the deities of the temple. Finally, Sri Ramakrishna's elder brother, Ram Kumar Chattopadhyay, agreed to take the responsibility. On 31st May 1855, on the auspicious occasion of Snana Yatra, the temple was consecrated with impressive grandeur. The Kali temple stands the Nat Mandir, a congregation hall for the devotees. The Nat Mandir is used for bhajans, kirtan, jatras and pandit sabhas.